Hello friends, in this module we are going to look at two things. In fact, one few final note about SDN. We will look at the complete architecture together in this particular module, and then we will be looking at the OpenFlow solution. OpenFlow was actually started from Stanford. The original idea of SDN was from Stanford. OpenFlow was an initiative from there, but then when commercial people started implementing it, they had an alliance of all companies together, and they formed something called Open Network Foundation, including major router and switch manufacturing companies. They formed that Open Network Foundation, and they evolved SDN further, especially OpenFlow. So, we will be talking about that in this particular module. We begin with the SDN architecture. You can see that there are three different phases. In fact, we have already talked about this a lot. So, I do not think you should be you will not have any issue with understanding this. The topmost part is the network application. Whatever network application we runs at this level. It talks to this management plane, and this not management plane talks to our controller plane, and controller plane talks to the data plane. Okay. Data plane is also known as forwarding plane. This controller also, like these controllers also are connected to each other. Okay. And you can see that the controllers are connected to each other, but then in true sense they are connected via this forwarding devices. They do not have controller to controller communication. Remember, the last module we have seen that a controller is connected to a switch. Okay. So, through that they communicate to each other. Usually they form some kind of a group to communicate to each other. Okay. And this interface, now we name it, it is called northbound interface. Is top is going to the upper side. So, it is called northbound interface from management, between management and control, and this interface is known as southbound interface. Okay. So, you may wonder why this names, additional names are given, but these names are quite popular in our industry. Okay. Whenever we have an architecture of this type, usually named as north, south, east and west interfaces, bound interfaces. So, and you can understand that this completely reflect whatever we have discussed so far. This is some complete architecture. If you have understood this complete architecture well, probably you have understood almost everything about SDN. Here is some more information about architecture. Protocol like OpenFlow are used to define flow rules. Okay. Forwarding devices are networked using wired or wireless fashion. Okay. So, OpenFlow is used to define flow rules. OpenFlow is also used by the forwarding devices. Okay. And these devices are connected to each other in a wired or wireless fashion. Okay. The data plane is basically complete network of forwarding devices. Now, this forwarding device is a switch. Okay. So, this is not the data. Please understand, switches are switches. On computers which are connected to it, they carry and they share data. So, in fact, SDN talks about 3 layers, and there is one more layer beneath, our own nodes. Okay. That we have not discussed, and we do not want to discuss, because we are not talking about that right now. We are only talking about this SDN architecture. But then data plane is not data networks. Data network is something which is lying beneath, and share people, the normal users share or work on those. They do not work on this SDN architecture at all. Okay. So, please understand that. Okay. Control plane use northbound interface with application and southbound interface for forwarding devices, communicating with them. And remember, network applications act at management plane. Okay. So, okay. Management plane interacts with applications like MAC learning about MAC addresses of the node, and remember, self learning switches does this, they self learn. Okay. Who is connected where. Okay. So, that is done here. Routing and forwarding applications can be interacting, the admin related rules and all that, intrusion detection rules, firewalling rules, load balancing rules, all that is provided here. Okay. Any switch which complies with southbound API is controller to switch, and any application which complies with northbound API, that means controller to management, can work with any compatible controller. Okay. So, that is it. In fact, open means higher, top level is anything, middle level is anything, below level is, as long as they have common language to communicate, they can communicate. They can be from any company, any make, no problem. That is here, that is the point. Okay. SDN provides an additional abstraction layer. Okay. I have already talked about this before, and that is known as orchestration layer. Okay. Additional overlay which provides this, and orchestration layer, when this is SDN is provided using that approach, is called a broker approach. So, you have conventional network in place, additional overlay which provides you very the switches do not change. Okay. They work like they used to. We only have a I would say a feel of having an SDN in our hands, but it is not truly. So, that is a broker approach. The other one is also overlays. You may use overlays and lines, those connection oriented networks to provide that. So, that is called SDN overlay. But remember, these two approaches provide us services, but they are comparatively very slow. Okay. You is always better to have separate controllers and switches and provide that. And most of the companies are going for that approach just because of that. Okay. There are few standardization efforts already happening. Now, we will start talking about OpenFlow. Okay. Now, the architecture is done, we will look at the OpenFlow, which is basically an interface between controller and switches. It allows controllers to talk to each other, it also allows controllers to control the switches. Okay. So, that is OpenFlow. This is one of the most standard protocols. There are others, in fact, there are others emerging as well. Okay. Okay. Open Network took over from Open Network Foundation, ONF. Okay. From Stanford to for OpenFlow. ONF is also working on something called network function virtualization. I mentioned about that, is basically having a network as a virtualized product. Okay. You just connected to internet, you want switches and routers and whatever you want, you just get in a virtual fashion. So, you can start routing your traffic accordingly and you get the service accordingly. Okay. IETF research group is also working on SDN. This is an interesting solution for wired and wireless IEEE this thing. So, Wi-Fi and Ethernet will use 802.1cf for providing SDN like solutions. So, if you want to administer a Wi-Fi and Ethernet network together using a single interface, you can try this. Okay. But it is being evolved. Okay. So, it is not in a, I would say in something which is available out of the shelf from the market. That may be when you are viewing this, probably it has become standardized and that is available. European telecommunication standard also is working on. Okay. Both basically SDN and NBF job is to provide better control, provide software based, software driven virtualized control over the network. Okay. So, you do not view network as collection of hardware devices, but a network entity, a software based entity which you can configure the way you like, you can manage the way you like, and you have all those flexibility. That is the issue here, that is the point here that I am consistently making. Okay. Okay. Standardization need for SDN, why we need standardization and which places. I have already mentioned that and we have looked at that thing in the architectural diagram as well. For example, a controller sending a packet mean to be other controller, how will a switch forward it? Remember, if earlier we had a controller being part of the switch and there is one more switch here which it controls. So, how do switch know it? Okay. So, how that is done? So, using an open interface, and that is our OpenFlow. Similar interface is required at the higher end, the northbound interface between management and control plane, which we are not going to discuss in this particular course. We are only going to concentrate on this management plane, basically we are going to only address the networking part of the SDN. So, we are going to talk about this. So, we will start talking about OpenFlow from now on. As I said, is an initiative this thing, and Open indicates any switch to talk to any controller as long as it is compatible with OpenFlow, it can do it. Many vendors have joined OpenFlow forum, including Cisco, AT&T, Google, Intel, Huawei. In fact, it's about 200 odd people who have 200 odd entities who have been part of OpenFlow by now. At this writing, the version was 1.5.1, is basically 5th version. Okay. OpenFlow switch is one which understands OpenFlow commands. Okay. So, interesting, I talked about this exception. Not of when normally you just send data on this line, it is 4G, but when there is an exception, when it crosses the limit, when the volume that he has consumed is over 1 GB, then you will have to take the other path. This is called exception. So, SDN, one of the great things about SDN is that it can handle these exceptions very well. Okay. What is the scope exactly? What OpenFlow is supposed to do, that is described here. First thing, it provides you exact format of the message that a switch or and a controller exchange with each other, or a controller exchange with other controller. So, that is the first thing, packet format. Second thing, it let you what are the items that you can control over. Okay. What are the things that you can control? What are the things that are under your control? Third thing, what are the actions that the switch can take? Okay. Here are the actions. For a basic 3 actions are most common: forward the packet, drop the packet, and the modify, change something in the packet. These are common this thing. Okay. So, this thing are different. The first thing about when we start talking about OpenFlow, that OpenFlow basically is dealing with flow tables. Okay. So, every switch contains a flow table, and based on flow table entries, every switch is going to forward the traffic, and the flow table implements this packet classification and forwarding job. And packet classification is based on a very simple thing. Left hand side implies right hand side type. Left hand side is basically a matching process. So, if when the match is true, the right hand side is an action. So, that action is taken. So, that kind of a simple, logically simple mechanism is provided here. Okay. There are many possible actions, including forwarding, dropping, and modifying. Not only that, the flow table also contains one more very interesting thing called frequencies or statistics about the events. For example, how many packets are dropped? For example, how many packets have preferred path A over path B? Now, this is very, very important, because when you talk about load balancing, you need to know that. Okay. If you know that both paths are taken with equal probability, that is fine, but if one path is taken more precedence over the other, that is not very good. You would like to make sure your solution work properly. Okay. So, that kind of statistics is very, very important for administrators. So, that also can be provided by this flow table. So, this right hand side, left hand side is match. So, the incoming packet is matched with that rule. Left hand side is a rule with matches with incoming packet. The right hand side is the action. When the rule matches, that action is to be performed, and a statistics is to be improved. Okay. So, that kind of job the flow table is doing. Okay. The first thing is communication and matching. Okay. OpenFlow, how OpenFlow does? OpenFlow switches establish TCP connection to the controller. Okay. So, controller communicates with switch using a typical TCP connection. Okay, and then send commands over that TCP connection to that switch for anything, sending the rule and all that. Okay. So, that is the first thing. And the communication, one more thing which is recommended is using TCP, but then on top of which it runs TLS. So, it is a secure connection. So, nobody can actually read what the controller is sending to that switch, nobody can even modify anything. Okay. So, that is the reason why this is provided. And packet processing and matching commences up, the rules are sent to the switch. Okay. And all the rules are matched together, and in case of 1.4.1, there are 41 different fields which you can match, including an arbitrary field. Okay. You can say that from 10th byte or 10th by 4th bit to 15th byte 2nd bit kind of. Okay. So, you can provide an arbitrary field as well. There are many fields. Okay, 41 fields will do a lot of things. We will be looking at some of them. Okay. It can even include MPLS with something called bottom up stack, that bit, if you remember, that S bit, which indicates how many labels are there. If it is 1, then it is only 1, or 0, then it is multiple. So, that also is possible to be used here. So, it is possible that OpenFlow accepts MPLS traffic and forward it further. It understands everything about MPLS. Okay. And interestingly, it also understands something called Ethernet backbone traffic. Remember, Ethernet networks are quite popular in LAN and almost de facto standard. So, when there are multiple LANs and you would like to connect to each other, you have to run a backbone, and that backbone runs a protocol called 802.1h. And the protocol actually is again priority based protocol, which can allow some customers traffic precedence over the other. Okay. So, that traffic is also understood by OpenFlow. OpenFlow is quite generic and understands almost everything. It understands virtual LAN, it understands MPLS, it understands even this thing, the backbone traffic from Ethernet, it understands the tags also. So, if you have backbone where multiple networks are connected, you can regulate that flow using OpenFlow. Here is an example. See, there are few networks, they are all connected together, and here are 4 routers which have many flows actually. Okay. So, how do the router work looking at the traffic that is coming in is okay. 802.1h protocol manages that priority based routing process, okay, based on the subscription classes the network belong to. So, if you have subscribed the gold package, you will get a higher bandwidth compared to the silver package, and so on and so forth. So, that is called provider based backbone solution, which is possible, provider backbone bridge. Okay. This is known as provider backbone bridge. So, that also can be possible to be managed by OpenFlow. Okay. There are many other fields possible to match. For example, IP version 4 and IP version 6 headers, all headers, every possible header that is possible. An interesting use is to provide a newer values. For example, if you want to separate VoIP call from something else, how do you do that? How do you, administrator has told you, okay, that I want VoIP calls to be separated from normal data traffic, but then there is nothing which can tell you from the packet that this belongs to VoIP. Very simple solution is provided, you just change the type value. Okay. When the type value is different, it is routed differently. Okay. So, that is also possible here. Okay. So, another interesting field is called tunnel ID. Okay. The tunnel ID, if you remember our older that overlay example, we had 4 different centers and they are overlaid together and their accountants are overlaid together. So, if OpenFlow has to manage, they will easily manage it, because that overlays have typical tunnel IDs, because they will have to talk to each other using tunnel. So, that based on the tunnel ID it can route. So, if you can say that OpenFlow 1 using this tunnel ID, OpenFlow 2 is using this tunnel ID, and I want tunnel ID 1 to be routed this way, tunnel ID 2 to be routed this way, and you will get that service. That is also possible with this thing. Okay. Okay. Once the left hand side matches, the job that OpenFlow has to do is to execute the right hand side action. And what are the actions? The actions, basically there are 3 actions, 3 basic actions: accept the packet and forward it to specific port or combination of ports is 1, drop the packet is 2nd, and modify the content of the packet is the 3rd. Okay. There are total 15 actions defined by OpenFlow 1.4.1, and here some of them related to MPLS, like sticking a tag and removing a tag, or even provider backbone related. Some of them are even related to time to leave values. Okay. So, what you can do is you can pick up time to leave from IP or MPLS and make sure that decision is made based on time to leave information. Okay. So, if administrator wants some decision to be taken based on that thing, that also can be managed. So, that is possible. The second is basically encapsulate the packet and send it to a controller. Okay. Now, this is again quite interesting. When you need this, Okay. Suppose if we have a new packet coming on a line, that's an entirely new packet. This is the first time we have seen this packet. So, the switch has no way of knowing what to do with this packet, because switch now is a dumb device, will only forward as per the rules. Now, what should I do when I receive something which I cannot do? I always pass that thing to my superior. The same thing happens here. So, switch does what? When it gets a packet which it cannot manage, will just tunnel it to the controller, and controller will look at that packet, decide what to do with that packet, how to route that packet. It is a new packet, okay, but so there has to be some administrative rule for that packet. So, he understands what to do with that packet, then provide that instruction to that switch. So, that switch will do what? That switch now incorporates that rule and process that packet. Now onwards, similar packets will be continuously processed by that switch. Okay. So, only for the first time this thing is done, this packet is tunneled to the controller. Okay. So, that is a critical action that is provided. The third obviously is to drop a packet. Usually the packet is dropped when it is introduce some kind of error of some sort, or it is a malware of some sort, or there is something which you cannot do with that packet, you will have to drop. Okay. So, those specific cases that packet is dropped. Okay. As I said, there are 15 different types of action. Okay. Second is called output action. Okay. It is the 0th entry. There are other things which I already talked about, copy time, time to leave. We already talked about other actions, they are already shown here on the slide. We have also talked about flow tables and the rules, but then there is a group table also, which basically manages multiple groups together, in fact multiple entries together in a single group. Okay. But then in a flow table, in fact every switch contain not one but multiple flow tables, and they are arranged one after the other, and always the match begins from the first flow table to the last flow table, and every flow table there is a rule which, if matches, will say that go to next or next to next or whatever flow table, and will not come back. Okay. It will say that the first flow table might say that go to the last one, the first will say that go to the fifth, and then fifth would say just go out. It is possible that this thing, the sequence is known as a pipeline, and because multiple flow tables are there, multiple sequence of rules are also possible to be executed for different type of packets. Okay. So, that is easy, because we know that multiple types of rules are to be processed. So, this design is provided. Okay. Here is the idea. Okay. You can see that the controller from control plane communicates to or this thing using southbound interface. Okay. This is something that we have already seen, but now we are expanding the switch itself. It communicates to the controller using secure channel. Remember, TLS is demanded here, and flow tables are communicating only in forward fashion, and this is known as a pipeline. There is also a group table which demands, in fact, there is a possibility of having a group of addresses, group of this thing flows. So, multiple flows being managed together in this group table. Here every flow has a typical flow table associated with it. Here a group containing talking about all multiple flows together. Okay. How they are processed? So, whenever the first packet comes in, the flow label action set at that point of time is null, that does not contain anything. When it visit multiple flow tables, every time every flow table add or remove actions from the same action set. When the flow table, the final flow table say that now there is no more flow table to visit. When you find that, it will execute all action sets, okay, together, multiple actions. Actually, one of the action must be the output action, which tells you exactly on which port the packet should go. Okay. That is the only important thing, otherwise this can be anything. Okay. Execute all actions together. Please understand, actions are not executed every time the rule matches, but at the end here. Okay. And there is an entity called synchronized table. Now, that also is quite interesting entity. So, whenever there is an entry made in table 1, there is an entry made in table 2. So, that is why they are called synchronized table. And a very simple example of such synchronized table is, for example, whenever I am adding a source address somewhere in Ethernet table, somewhere I am also adding a destination address. My switch, now it is very easy. Remember how switches learn, reverse path forwarding. Whenever a packet comes to me from a typical port, typical line, tells me that this is the network address, is the node. I do not know before, but now I know that this node exists on this port and connected to this network. So, if there is a packet for this network, this node, I will have to send it on this port from where it has come. So, this is how the switches learn. So, this port, in fact, this is automated in OpenFlow by providing synchronized table. So, when this is done, the entry is entered here, the entry enters here. If entry changes here, the entry changes at this place also. So, they are quite synchronized, that means they change as the other changes. Okay. So, that is the power of synchronized table. There is something called a metadata field. A metadata field provides additional information about a packet. For example, we have seen that there is something allows a very small fraction of packet, you can say that from this bit to that bit, if matches with something, you should do this. Okay. But what is this? This from 10th bit to 20th bit, you doing something, but what is it? If you want to provide that information, you can use metadata. Or if you use some virtual tunnel ID somewhere and you would like to define what those virtual IDs, you can use metadata. So, metadata is an additional field which pass from float table to float table and will help information, will provide additional information about what is being flowed. So, you will be able to take a better decision. And as I said, actions are always applied at the end. Okay. So, when the flow reaches to the table, the last table where there is no forward jump is the last table, and at that point of time at least one action should tell you where the packet goes. Okay. Okay. So, processing actions might take local packet classification support or MPLS tag designing support and whatever. So, that flow table might have that MPLS tag 5 should be doing this, MPLS tag 20 should be doing this, and so on and so forth. So, that is local support. You might also have a packet classification support there installed in the switch, which is being exploited. So, when that happens, though I have shown all flow tables executing this in a sequence, they happen together actually. Okay. So, all rules are applied together and you get the complete action set in a single go. Priority queue related actions may also be executed. Okay. So, groups comes next. As I said, there is a group table and there is a possibility of processing the packets based on the group they belong to, the group of flow they belong to. There are three different type of groups used here in OpenFlow. The first group is multicast, all multicast group is basically broadcast. Second is called a select group. A select group is where you send one of the members the packet, and it is quite interesting field because this group can be used for load balancing. For example, here is one switch and here are 10 different ports of it, which all 10 ports connect to the same receiver. Now, what I can do is whenever a packet comes in, I can choose one of the 10 ports at random to send it over. Now, how will I do it? I will use this thing as a select group. Okay. So, any one of the member is to be sent, and to choose it randomly I can actually do it. I will just take the dump of the hash of the packet and use that thing for some kind of hash encoding. So, it will generate a number between 1 to 9. One simple solution is to take a mode value. Okay, whatever the packet header value is, I just say mode 10, I will get a value between 0 and 9, and I have numbered these ports from 0 and 9. So, whatever number is, I will just send that packet over. So, packet header basically is something which is designed from the user and is almost a random value. So, the value that I generate from it is also very random. So, is very likely that any one of the 0 to port 9 choosing any one is very random. That means, the incoming packet goes to any line is equally probable. That means, all incoming packets are differentiated in this fashion. So, it is almost load balanced. So, this is a select group which can be used for this load balancing part. Okay. There is one more called fast failover group. Now, that also is very important group. Whenever I say that port number 5, whenever it fails, send the data to a failover group called 10. Now, failover group core 10 contain few ports. So, whenever it fails, switch automatically send to one of the members whichever port live available, live means it is running, will be given that data without even asking the controller. Now, please understand, this is a control provided at switch. A packet coming in understands that this particular port is failing. So, there is a group of ports. So, any one port which is live, this port will start transferring traffic there, simple, without asking even the controller. That is why it is called fast, and that is why it is called failover, because if the port fails, it finds a solution to it. One more critical thing is that when you have actions to be executed, a sequence of actions, you want all the actions to be executed or none of them. Now, this is again very similar idea about very similar to the database transaction case. You want all actions to be carried out or not, because you do not want inconsistency in the system. So, that is also possible here, and this thing is called bundle here. So, in a single bundle, all actions are carried out or none of them. Okay. So, if you design action set as a bundle, you can even have that facility. OpenFlow header looks like shown on the screen, very simple. Version indicates the OpenFlow version, the type indicates the type of message. There are 3 types of message, we will see soon, the length of it, and transaction ID indicates the number, is like a sequence number. So, when the response comes back, you can compare and find out the answer to which query you got this. There are 3 types of messages I said. The first one is controller to switch, the other one is asynchronous, which is basically switch to the controller. And the third one is called synchronous message, which anybody can send, okay. And they are synchronous, means they do not need any signaling, they can send, and they are used for basically something called capability negotiation. So, something that we have already seen before, a controller and a switch talk to each other, understand what is the capability 10 GB, 100 GB, what is the capacity, and accordingly that communicate with each other. So, that kind of capability exchange is also possible here with this type of message. Okay. So, even when you can handle larger than normal messages, if you want, if you can, and also the other party is ready, you can do that. Not only that, it also can be used for hello and echo messages to make sure the other party, other switches are live or the port is live or not. You can actually make sure by sending this hello and packet and all that. So, the last thing that we are going to talk about in this module is called software defined radios, which are not exactly falling into this SDN, but is an interesting thing, because this has been inherited from SDN. Software defined radios are basically radio devices which send and receive radio signals, and our laptops and all that can use them. One great thing about software defined radios is that they are not hardware configured to use a specific frequency or specific modulation scheme. What we can do is we can tune that thing by software. So, I am using laptop with that kind of a device. I can plug in my network, my laptop anywhere, and if I am supposed to use a typical frequency, a typical modulation scheme, my laptop will tell that thing to that radio device, will start working that way. So, that is the power of this the software driven management of radio devices. With that note, we will conclude this module. What we have looked at in this module is the complete architecture of SDN, and then we have looked at the OpenFlow architecture itself. We have seen how OpenFlow works, how commands from the controller to switch is managed, how flow tables are managed, how group tables are managed, what are the types of groups, and we concluded that thing with software defined radios. With that note, we conclude this module. Thank you all friends.